Welcome into your first 5 minutes in Blender, where we're going to look at the most basic of things: scaling, rotating, and moving an object. And these are commands: S for scale, R for rotate, and G for move. I remember us thinking G for grab. This is probably what your default landing page looks like, your default workspace if you've just now downloaded Blender. If I hit A, it selects everything in my screen. If I hit A twice, it deselects everything. So let's hit A, make sure everything's selected. I hit delete and we'll delete everything. I'm gonna hit 1 because 1 on the numpad takes us to the front view. 3 takes us to the right view. 7 takes us to the top view. So with 1 selected, we're gonna hit Shift A, and this is where we would add things to our scene. We can add primitive meshes, we can add empties, lights, cameras, etc. But right now we're going to add a primitive cube here. So mesh cube, and I'm going to cock this off to a side just so we can see what's going on. So first thing we want to do is we're going to move our object. That's G for get. So I'm going to hit G with my object selected, and I can move it around with my cursor. If I want more control, like I only want it to move on the x-axis, I can hit GX. I can move it on the x. GY, I move it on the y-axis. GZ, I move it on the Z axis, and I'm hitting escape, so I'm not kind of locking it into where I have moved it to. If I want even more control, say I want to move it two counts to the right, I can hit G, X, and 2, and hit enter, and now it's there. I can hit G, X, -2, and it basically moved back to where it was. So that's get. We have the rotate command, which is R. I can hit R. I can rotate it with my mouse. If I hit RR, I can rotate it on multiple axes with my mouse. And again, like the move control, I can control which axis it moves on. RX moves it on the rotates on the x-axis. RY rotates it on the y-axis. RZ rotates it on the z-axis. And again, I also have that fine control where I can say I want to go 45 degrees on the x-axis. I hit RX, type 45, hit enter, and now I am rotated 45 degrees, and I can go back in the negative, RX, negative 45, and I'm back to where I was. The other thing I can do is if I'm gonna hit 1 to get the front. If I hit RR, rotate this all weird, it's gonna be hard for me to get that back to where I wanted it to, so I can hit um, um, Alt R, and it clears all of my rotations. The next thing we want to look at is scaling. I'm going to hit S, and I can scale with my mouse. I can hit S2, and I'll scale, on the 2, scale 3, S5, and I can also scale on axis. SX, I can scale on the X. SY, scale on the Y. SZ, scale on the Z. And then I can also do that fine control SX2, hit enter, SX 0.5, and I'm back to where I was. I can also combine, I can scale on everything but an axis. So I can hit S Shift X, and it'll scale on everything but the X. I can hit S Shift Y and scale on everything but the Y. I can hit S Shift Z and scale on everything but the Z. That's just a quick look at the basic commands to move, rotate, and scale. Hopefully you'll join us back for the next 5 minutes in Blender, which will be on the playlist very shortly. Please like and subscribe.